Hello and welcome back to another exciting chess game, guys. This one was played like a few weeks ago at Levitov chess tournament in Netherlands, and it was played between two countrymen and two chess heavyweights, Daniil Dubov, who was playing with white, and Jan Nepomniachtchi playing as black. And what is so interesting about this game is that Daniil Dubov really outplayed Jan in only 24 moves. So really exciting game, and without further ado we will go straight into it. Dubov opened the game with d4. We have knight f6 for Jan, we have knight f3, and we have d5 on the board for black. White continues with bishop g5, which is Trompovsky attack, but after Jan played knight e4, which is commonly played in these sort of positions, this is actually Torre attack for white. Now white has two options in this position. He can either put bishop on f4 or he can play bishop h4. In our game, white decided to play bishop h4 with a simple idea to aim at this queen because this pawn is pinned and you cannot play e6. Game continued with h5, which is a common thing in this opening. Black's idea is to play f6 and then to push g5, and if white is careless, white will lose his bishop. Of course, Daniil Dubov knows his openings and he plays h3 to open the space for this bishop. And right now Jan Nepomniachtchi decided to play rook g8, which is not commonly played in this sort of openings. So after h3, the best continuation for black, which is often played, is to play f6, and after knight b to d2 is played for white. With the attack on this knight, black would remove his knight back on d6. Then after bishop g3, black plays knight f5 and he pressures this bishop, and he has a really nice position. So that's how you should usually play in these positions. But after h3 and rook g8, white continues with knight b to d2, again pressuring this knight. And right now Nepo decided to play g5 to counterattack this bishop. Daniil Dubov finds the right move in this position, and that is to pick up this knight. And right now, unfortunately, Nepo makes a mistake in the opening and he picks up this bishop. What this allows, actually, this creates these two weak pawns, and although this trade happened, this is not good for black at all. So the best continuation after knight picks up on e4 was to actually go with d picks up on e4. You are, as black, leaving this pawn for taking, and after white picks up this pawn, you would continue with queen d5. Right now you are attacking this knight and you want to trade your rook for these two pieces. White would usually continue with f4 to defend, and after f6 is played for black. Right now this knight doesn't have any squares to go, but this is how it's usually played. White actually sacrifices his knight and he plays e3, but the idea here is that now this queen is opened, and taking on h5 is a possibility with a really dangerous attack. So black doesn't want to allow this. He wants to block this check after the queen picks it up, and he plays bishop f5, just to remind you that this knight is still hanging. So after that, white would continue with bishop e2, and after f picks up on g5, f picks up on g5, white has three pawns for a piece and the position is equal. Although computer evaluates this as a slightly better for black, the position is equal. Black has a piece, but white has three pawns, and this is how this game will continue. Of course, white will pick up this pawn as well, and that's how usually this position should be played. But after knight picks up on e4, which was played, Nepo decided to pick up this knight, and after that Dubov simply plays knight c3. Plays a really calm move, and he wants to try and advance his position. Of course, white's plan is simple, that is e3 with moving this knight to e5 and then aiming at these weak pawns. This is really going to be hard for black. Black also ruined his castle on this side, so it's gonna be really hard for black. White is practically already doing much better in this position by simply this calm move. So Nepo continues with e6. We have e4 immediately opening the center for white and also opening the queen. We have bishop h6, which is a kind of a dubious move. This is not the best option, but Nepo decided that it's better to do something than nothing. Game continued with a knight to e5, which was the original idea of white. Obviously, you cannot stop this attack. White simply wants to engage with his queen in the center, and he also wants to try and create a checkmate threat here. So Nepo sees this and unfortunately has to play queen g5 right now to try and defend the position and defend this pawn. Dubov now continues calmly with e picks up on d5, and after that Nepomniachtchi decided to play king f8 which is one of those moves that you basically don't have anything else to do. I will now show you what would happen after he takes on d5. Actually, there is one slightly better move here in this position, so it's actually knight to d7 here, and after that white would continue with knight f3, attacking this queen. Queen would be forced to go back, and after d picks up on e6, queen picks up on e6 with a check, queen e2, queen picks up on e2, bishop picks up on e2. Dubov is giving up this pawn on g2, but he will pick up this pawn on h4. With this pawn hanging, white is doing much better here. Computer evaluation is that it's 1.22, so much better position for white. Unfortunately, king f8 doesn't solve anything which was played in the game, but this move is played. By the way, just wanted to show you that after e picks up on d5, if you pick up this, white will simply continue with knight picking up on d5 with a much better position and attack on this pawn, so it's pretty much game over. So that is the reason why king f8 was played, one of the reasons at least. Daniil Dubov continues the game with bishop c4. He plays a really calm move, and he actually allows black to pick up this pawn. Now Nepo doesn't want to do that, and he plays f6. Now if you're wondering what would happen if black decided to pick up this pawn, let's see it. So after queen picks up on g2, white continues with queen picks up on h5. He's actually sacrificing this rook and this rook as well, because your king is more important than two pieces. So right, if you pick up this rook, king e2, and you are pretty much done. There is no way of stopping this checkmate. You can only play, for example, something like a rook g7, but that leaves your queen here for free, and that's a queen for a rook, and that's a one game for Daniil Dubov. This is a pretty much game done. So that is the reason why this is not allowed for black, and f6 was played. Right now this knight is attacked, but Daniil Dubov doesn't care about this knight. He continues by sacrificing his knight, and he goes d picks up on e6. Nepo of course accepts this, and he plays f picks up on e5. After that, game continued with queen f3 check. King is forced to go somewhere, and he decided to go on g7. We have queen f7 for Dubov with a check. King goes on h8, and right now Daniil Dubov continues the game with e7, right now already threatening the promotion of this pawn. So the situation is getting harder and harder right now. Also, there is this threat here, checkmate threat, so you must be careful where you move your queen. Nepo finds a move that actually saves the game, at least keeps him in the game, and that is bishop e6. You are basically giving up your piece that you just gained, but you have to do it because your position is done. After queen picks up on e6, you saved the position you are in the game after knight c6 because you connected your two rooks, and right now you are stopping this promotion, at least for now. Dubov continues the attack with knight to e4. Right now this queen is under attack, and Nepo again plays queen g7. Of course, you probably saw that picking up this pawn will lead to checkmate, so you cannot pick it up again. After knight e4, queen g7, and after that knight f6 was played for Daniil Dubov. Daniil Dubov now threatens to pick up this rook, and again there is not much you can do here as black. But at least for now black can pick up this pawn, because after queen picks up on g2, right now there is no checkmate threat because this knight is blocking the attack on this bishop. But Daniil Dubov again finds an amazing move that actually saves his position and continues the attack, and that is bishop d5. Simply everything is covered. You cannot do much here. You have to move your queen backwards, or you simply, this rook will fall. But Nepomniachtchi decided to sacrifice his queen. He goes with queen picks up on h1 check, and after bishop picks up on h1, black continues with rook g1 check. After king goes on e2, game continued with knight picks up on d4 check, so black will be able to return this queen. After king goes on d3, black continues by picking up this queen, and after a rook picks up on g1, Jan Nepomniachtchi decided to resign this game because simply there is nothing you can do. You cannot stop the promotion of this pawn. You will either get checkmated or you will lose a lot of material. Of course, I will now show you. So if you decide to save this promotion with knight g7, for example, then white has a bishop picking up on b7, and after you move your rook to b8, we have bishop d5, a really nice move. Right now, after the promotion is done, you have to be careful because you cannot pick up with your knight. That would be great, but rook g8 would be checkmate. So after, for example, bishop f4 for black, white continues with e8 and a promotion of a queen. You have to pick up with your rook, and after knight picks up on e8, knight will pick up again. Rook g8 check, king goes on h7, and rook picks up on e8, and white has a rook advantage, and this is a clearly won game for white. And this is how this game ended, and this is all I have prepared for you today. If you enjoyed this game, please make sure to leave a comment, like and share this video, because it really helps me a lot. It helps me reach more people and it helps the growth of my channel. I couldn't do this without your help and I really appreciate it. Also, if you wish to donate, you can donate to the channel as well. I will leave the PayPal link and all of my donators will be listed on the screen as you see them. Right now, if you have any questions about the position or about the game, or simply have I missed something in the analysis, do let me know, because I really enjoy reading all of your comments. And as always, we will see each other in the next video. I wish you a pleasant day. Bye bye.